you niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins,
That's me.
and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Medium popcorn.
Woo!
You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it.
Spoil it in your face.
That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Woo-hoo. Woo-hoo.
Air Ball, Air Jordan, Air Brown, Air Collins. I'm Eddie Collins, everybody.
This is just an end that didn't make no sense.
Yes, it did.
No, it
Medium
didn't.
popcorn. March Madness. I don't follow nothing, but I know it means basketball.
Basketball.
And today we're talking about Air, written and directed by Ben Affleck, even though it says written by Alex Convery, because apparently Ben Affleck and Matt Damon did a rewrite. But
Oh,
yeah. But listen, everybody. I don't know much about basketball. I don't think I know much about the Jordan shoes. But I do want to confess, I love this movie.
okay.
I really enjoyed this movie. Even though it's very much bordering on white savior,
Speak to it.
which is
Speak to it.
weird because it's not really because they didn't really have to save the Jordans. The Jordans were going to be okay. You know what I mean? But it was interesting because, like, how much did you know about Nike? Like, because I know Phil Knight has that book that's really, really popular.
I don't know too much about Nike.
Okay. So you kind of came into the same knowledge that I had then.
No, I had a little bit more knowledge than you
Probably.
did, but
Probably, yeah.
but yeah, I don't know that much about Nike, but I do know that that like how groundbreaking this deal was.
Oh yeah, man. Not only like shaping a shoe around an athlete,
Mm-hmm.
but man, I wrote down, I was like, if Mrs. Jordan if that was really her idea to make sure Michael got a percentage,
Oh, she started.
that's the mom of all time.
She started off profit sharing for athletes.
Yeah,
It's never
dope.
happened before her. So like, yeah, everybody should be
And that's before that guy created the logo of the silhouette of Michael with the ball.
Yeah.
Fuck. I mean, what do they say? He makes how much money in passive income a year? Like hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So the crazy thing about that is this film actually gives different numbers than the actual numbers. So it wasn't 250,000. I mean, 250, 100,000. It was actually 500,000. So they gave him $500,000,
Yeah.
which totaled out to $2.5 million over a 5-year deal. And the percentage that he got, 25%.
Yeah.
But then when they did the Jordan brand, and I think 2000, I don't know, it was either 2017 or 1997, one of those.
Yeah.
When he did the Jordan brand, he started getting 5% of the proceeds, but then obviously he probably got a crazy chunk of money up top. But he just gets 5%.
Licensing and all that stuff. I mean, that's the thing is that Sonny Vaccaro, who's played by Matt Damon. I mean, he says at the end, right? He's like, and Viola Davis is, as Michael Jordan's mother says it as well. Like, everyone's going to, reap the benefits of this deal.
Yeah,
it's not one-sided. This is very much a partnership.
Yeah,
and I think that's what. I mean, we'll obviously get into the movie itself and how they're able to pitch, because this is all about Nike essentially really, really struggling as a shoe company.
Mm-hmm.
This is before they dominated the shoe market, obviously, because I think they're 80% of, shoe sales at this point.
Yeah.
But this is back when they were like, especially in regards to like what was hip and stuff, they were losing out to Adidas. They were losing market share to Adidas, Converse. Yeah. Probably even Puma and some shit. No, but it was Adidas and Converse, and
well, it was also because Nike was a runner's shoe.
Yeah,
it was mainly a runner's
which
shoe.
is good for athletes, especially basketball players. I mean, Converse, man, I love me some Converse All-Stars, but they are not the kind of shoes you want to be running all day in.
No, they're not the kind of shoe that you want to be anything on pavement in. Like, I can imagine playing basketball in Converse.
Yeah. First of all, if a nigga steps on your toes when you're wearing Converse shoes, you may as it's over.
Well,
it's like wearing clown shoes. It's fucking crazy.
well, actually, that's the thing. Is like, because Converse has that hard shell
Yes.
on the front, so it kind of does protect your toes. But if it gets any sort of cold, fuck your feet, cut them off, throw them away.
Yeah,
Not
definitely.
the shoes,
Yeah,
your
yeah,
feet.
but the feet. Yeah, but I've definitely had a situation where I slipped the wrong way, and I felt like my toe was going to get ripped off because of the way that the Converse shoes
Oh yeah,
structured
yeah,
and shit. Like it's not great. And like when you're a fucking basketball player,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
I mean,
Like,
listen, they must have had some ankle injuries.
oh yeah, the way that shit folds. Ugh. Adidas makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
And also this is the time like Rum DMC was really popular. Like, they even were about to have a song called My Adidas and shit like that. Then they also had the cool, like,
The tracksuits. It was
the
a whole
tracksuit, but
vibe.
then
It
all
was a whole
day
vibe.
dream was about sex, as
Yeah.
like the supposed meaning of it and stuff like that. It was just very much like they were being dominated by Adidas. And so they're essentially trying to be like, all right, Sonny, he supports the marketing for the Nike basketball division along with Jason Bateman's character.
No, he's the marketing guy.
Yeah.
Sonny is kind of like he's recruiting the new talent,
Yeah.
things like that. It's like, this is what we should go, because they needed a guy who would run the basketball division, who knows basketball.
Yeah, because he's able to scout talent and stuff. I mean, here's the thing. Like I said, this is a borderline a white savior movie. But goddamn, they casted some charming motherfuckers. Like, and that's the thing that really bothers me about Matt Damon is that he is incredibly likable when he wants to be on screen.
Yeah.
But he can also be really evil. Like, I don't know if you ever saw School Ties.
No.
He was a fucking piece of shit in that movie. We should definitely add School Ties to the list. But between I remember I watched The Martian not too long ago. I was like, why the fuck is he so likable? Because he says some really in person. He said some problematic shit. I don't know if you ever saw that season of Project Greenlight with he was working with Effie Brown, and she's essentially advocating to make sure that people of color are represented in lead roles and not just servant roles. She's like, we're making a very, very white centric film about upper white class people. And I'm really worried that the story we deviated from, which was going to feature a heavy role for a woman of color, now that's being taken away. And we're going to just only have these roles where it's going to be butlers and, maids and stuff like that are, for people of color. And Matt Damon's like, they'll all come out in the wash or whatever. And it definitely did.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, we'll make sure that doesn't happen. Like it'll all work itself out." He was very much like the white guy who's like, "It's all gonna work out, baby. Don't worry about that. Y'all, you protest too much." He's like the kind of guy who's like, "It's all gonna work out. People are gonna recognize that we need to have that diversity." And it never happens because then you get to the finished product or you get to the finished thing, and then people look around, they're like, "Oh shit, yeah, it is all white guys."
Yeah,
and stuff. But I mean, you obviously Ben Affleck had a good pitch, and the story was strong enough where you do get someone like Viola Davis as Dolores Jordan. Although maybe she negotiated to make sure her husband played Michael Jordan's dad.
Well, no. So Jordan actually requested.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that in UBS trivia.
Yeah, he was just like, "Nah, this is who I want," which is great. So basically, that was actually so they went to Michael Jordan. They're just like, "Hey."
Ben Affleck said that even though they didn't cast, they cast the guy, but that he talked to Michael Jordan several times.
Yeah, they wanted to get his blessing for this story and everything, and and because they also in the scene where Matt Damon's talking, it does reference his father's death.
Well, that's what I was going to ask as a follow up to that because I didn't know that Ben Affleck had legit been consulting with Michael Jordan about this, which makes sense because Michael's not doing nothing, but Michael's just kind of hanging out, making money, and then doing stuff like the last dance. Where, I mean,
he's just shitting on all of his enemies.
I took that personally. This is one of the best lines of all time.
Yeah,
now it's hilarious. And then him being honest about how competitive he is. He's like, yeah, I had to play. I know I would go support little kids and camps and stuff, and I would whip their ass.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Imagine being a kid at a basketball camp and then Michael Jordan comes to visit and you step up to him because you're trying to be maybe you genuinely think I'm gonna be the next great dude.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm gonna play you and I'm gonna beat you. And Michael Jordan's like, okay, didn't make it.
It's like, you ain't there yet, kid.
Get it beat 85-1 by Michael Jordan. And that's if he lets you get a shot.
Yeah. That's if he's being kind.
He won't stop too. Like the coach is like, hey, Mr. Jordan, I think we get the point. He's like, no. We will keep going.
He said he need 20 minutes. I'm gonna give him his 20 minutes.
Just the kid just gives up, starts crying on the court. Michael's just dribbling in a circle, shooting the ball. But my question,
all-star, huh?
that pitch that Sonny gives after like he realizes that the video's not really resonating with Michael, that their pitch is kind of like petering out. Like Chris Tucker's like eyeing him like, this ain't going great, right? And this is our shot. If we don't do this, the basketball division might get fucked. Like we might all get cut. Because Jason Bateman has that great scene where he's like, I have this divorce. Like, I really can't afford to lose my job.
Yeah.
Like Jason Bateman's really good at this. We'll talk about that in a second. But Sonny's pitch directly to Michael about how he's made for greatness and that everyone's going to always remember him. And like, that's why it's important for him to have this legacy with this partnership with Nike. Tati watched that with me. Mind you, this is the third time I've seen this movie, and I'm like, that's a really good monologue. Like Matt Damon's eating that. But is that the real pitch that he gave Michael? Because if it is, I understand why he signed with them. If a dude gave me that pitch, I'm like, I gotta sign with these people. They believe in me probably more than I believe in myself right now.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but that'd be a ballsy fucking move.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
that'd be a ballsy fucking move. Yeah. But at the same time, considering the fact that like, and again, if this isn't too dramatized and some of this stuff actually did go down the way it's been said, and he just like, hey, listen, this is how Adidas is gonna go. This is how Converse is gonna go, because he knows how they operate.
Yeah, that was great.
And then that
shows that he knew his shit.
Yeah.
Viola Davis, like, I love that he's like, this is exactly how it's gonna go, beat by beat. This is what this guy's gonna be wearing. I was like, shit.
They're gonna say this, and
that shows how predictable they are too.
Yeah.
So the fact that they were willing to work on the fly, also probably, for Dolores, she's probably like, this guy's willing to meet us where we're at if need be. He's willing to pivot if need be.
Yeah. Which
is kind of what they did with the deal. Because initially it was like, hey, this is the offer, like the monetary offer. Then she throws in the wrench of like, I want him to have a percentage. And Phil Knight's like, fuck it. Like, why not?
Yeah. Well, and that's what they said later. It's like, Converse Adidas, they weren't going to do that.
Yeah.
They weren't going to do that. It was like, yeah, well,
Well, because they, Converse had, already had big stars. So then you got to retroactively make that work with like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and shit.
100%.
Which was great that he was like, ask them, how is Michael going to be special?
Yeah.
Because if you already have these big stars, he's always going to be fourth tier.
Yep.
It's like, we'll literally we're going to have a shoe based around your son.
Yeah. And it's like, we are going, the fact that they're signing one person.
Yeah.
Like
versus multiple players, this is what they have the budget for.
Yeah.
And he watches a tape of Michael Jordan where he's like, this is the biggest shot of his life. Like the college game he watches. And he's like, and he's as cool as a cucumber. It's like he's almost calling the ball. Like he's ready for the moment.
Yeah, exactly. He wants it. He wants that pressure. Yeah.
And he's like, this is the guy to shape everything around. And like he pitches it hard. Phil Knight eventually relents, even though like this is the first movie where I was like reminded how much CEOs really do have to think about the board.
Yeah.
Because remember, like Phil Knight's constantly like, I gotta convince the board, like the board's not gonna go for this. That's what's happening to all these entertainment companies now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he did that on purpose, because I know he and Matt Damon just recently started a production company where it's all about artist equity and like making sure the creatives get paid versus like the higher ups and stuff like that. Because I was just like, oh yeah, like all these people are so worried about what the stockholders and the board are gonna think that they're actually afraid to make policy decisions that actually would be breakthroughs and resonate with people.
Yeah, to make art.
Yeah.
And, obviously stepping away from like sports and stuff like that. But
yeah, but shoemaking is an art. I thought they did a really good job.
Oh, no.
The work that goes into marketing and creating.
I'm speaking more in tune with like what Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are doing. Like,
well, even this, you don't consider that an art? Like about analyzing players and stuff, the way that Sonny had to do it? Because
No,
that's why he was able to put like the kind of
no,
bets. Like he
no.
wasn't
That's a skill.
okay.
That's a skill. I mean,
It's
because
true.
you know
Yeah.
you're basically learning how to. I mean, because you're a recruiter.
Okay, but when you're yes, it's a skill set and you're analyzing things. But then at the end of the day, he's got to come back to Nike and then visual like put together a plan on like this is why like recruiting this person to be a sponsor for our company makes sense. And you have to come up with like collaborate with marketing. You got to collaborate with other departments and stuff like that. And I think that's more than a skill set. I think that's actually to me that feels like that's art
Uh,
in a way.
yeah,
But art is also very subjective.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's tough because, like, there's a level of business savviness,
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
there. Obviously, it's mostly it's analytics mixed with marketing,
Yeah.
and marketing is kind of more of the creative
Yes.
aspect
Yeah,
of the business.
for sure.
So like, yeah, it's kind of a mixture of both, but I think he's on more of the analytics side. And then he kind of has to have, his finger on the pulse of the players and then the audience as well.
Yeah.
And so what can this guy become? And so and so. So like, yeah, I mean, like I see what you're saying as art,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
kind of both. Yeah, yes and no.
And folks, if you haven't seen Air, it's on Amazon Prime. Definitely would recommend it. Obviously, we'll get to our rating in a little bit, but I was actually surprised by how this is just a movie about formulating a pitch to
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. I mean, Sonny does go, outside the norm of negotiations at this time, where instead of trying to work with the agent who's just blocking him, he's like, Michael doesn't want to talk to Nike. He's all about Adidas. That's what the young athletes are all about because they're cool and hip right now. Nike is, lame and shit. And he just goes directly to the Jordans. He
Yeah.
drives up to their house and is like, hey, we'll talk to you. They're like, oh shit, that's not. I mean, I love Chris
That's not how you
Messina.
do things.
I love
Yeah.
the Chris Messina as Falk, the agent, because he loses his shit. I just love like improvisation. I don't know if Falk really has herpes, but that joke about he's like Matt Damon was like, that means you probably have herpes. It's like everyone has herpes. You know why you don't have herpes? Because no one will fuck you, you fat fuck. That shit had me dying. Yeah, it was hilarious. That is wild. That's a wild comeback to somebody.
Yeah, it is.
But it was the thing I really liked about this movie is one, the script is really, really good. The script
Yeah.
is tight. The soundtrack is fucking banging. If you love 80s music, this is like
Yeah,
they spent a lot of money.
The time, yeah,
They spent a lot of
yeah,
money.
because those were hits.
It's all hits.
Yeah.
The fucking jukebox is just nothing but bangers from the 80s. You got Ben Affleck as Phil Knight wearing the craziest fucking 80s outfits, especially sportswear and shit.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I didn't think Ben Affleck has made me laugh a few times in some performances. I didn't think he had this kind of comic timing though. I know Matt Damon has because he's done SNL, like
Yeah.
he's done some comedies, like or he's like been very comedic, like even in movies like The Martian where he had to be dramatic at times. But Ben Affleck was fucking nuts as Phil Knight.
Well, you know
But
what?
it was fun. It was like very hilarious and charming.
Because Ben Affleck is more of like the Hollywood guy of those two.
Yeah. He's like the more
group.
pop,
Yeah.
culture guy.
So like, because of that, like we get more dramatic roles out of him. I mean, but remember he was in like Mallrats and shit like that.
Yeah.
And all of those movies. So it's like he does have some comedic chops because he was in comedies. Back in the day. He doesn't get to use it that much, but
yeah, Chasing Amy, like he did a lot of the Kevin Smith's movies and stuff like that. Then he got married to Jennifer Garner. I think he got a little bit too serious. And now he's like kind of letting loose, but in a weird, like personal, like not a personal aside, but like a weird aside. I do wonder if him getting back with J-Lo though kind of hurt this movie's awards prospects. Because I'm watching this, I'm like, man, this really got shut out of everything award season wise. Like, I'm like, why? It's a crowd pleaser. It's a fun movie. It's a tight 2 hours. Like, why didn't this get anything? And I'm like, I think the whole J Lo Ben Affleck reunion thing kind of overshadowed things, and I think people are, and I worry that's a detriment to both of their careers. But like love hopefully conquers all because J Lo's new stuff has been bombing. This movie just broke even at the box office.
But here's the thing. part of that is because, yeah, he gets with J Lo. There's all these memes about Ben Affleck looks miserable all the time.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I would be miserable too if I'm just trying to love my. They're just trying to live their lives, and you get followed everywhere you go. They had a flat tire last week. That shit was on the front of TMZ.
Yeah.
You know, Nick. Like we're trying to look in the trunk for a spare tire and shit. Niggas like, oh, you don't got a spare tire? That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Taking pictures of her ass while she's bent over, trying to look in the trunk with them and shit. They can't even go to a movie theater without people like reporting it.
But here's the thing. Now they're putting out they put out that fucking Dunkin' Donuts, Dunkin' Donuts fucking come on. That's the shit that's gonna help him because that's breaking his mold now.
Yeah, I mean, those are really fun. Like that actually, I think that actually has helped people kind of like accept their not accept their relationship, but like have a little bit more fun than the early 2000s. Because the early 2000s, that's when you start seeing celebrity turn real toxic.
Yeah,
like these two people clearly love each other. Then the scrutiny was so intense. You literally, when they broke up, it was like I could see that. Like they were
honestly though,
that was fucking nuts.
Honestly though, I think at that time, I think it was mostly coming after J Lo. Because J Lo was starting to pop up everywhere. It's like, oh, she went to Puffy. Now she's got a music business. She leaves him. Now she goes to Ben Affleck. Now she's got a movie career. Then she leaves him. She goes to fucking Mark Anthony. Now she's trying to grab this Spanish market.
Well, before that was that dancer guy.
Yeah. My love don't cost a thing. Yeah. That whole thing that was weird.
Man, I don't care if I'm a backup dancer and J Lo wants to fuck me and get married to me. Like it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you want to place me
in the video, bitches. I just be laughing for no reason. You'd hear me on the track laughing. I won.
Oh God.
But with all of that said, I think a lot of that hate was pointed at J-Lo.
Yes.
At that time because of what
he was very overexposed at that point.
Yeah.
So was Ben Affleck to an extent.
And you also got put in the fact this is like when her and Puffy broke up, the black community was just like, look at this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Leave a man when he needs her. And then like so I think they were because she was so heavy in the eye right now at that point is like I think that's probably broke up their relationship.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm happy that they were able to come full circle back to each other, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Ben Affleck does next as a director, as an actor. I think he's a very skillful director. Like he's made some very entertaining movies. Like Gone Baby Gone is like fine, but The Town is really good.
Gone Baby Gone.
Yeah, that's his first movie as a director.
Oh, okay.
Stars Casey Affleck, Amy Ryan got an Oscar nomination from it.
I thought you meant Gone Girl. I was just like Gone Baby.
No, he was a Gone Girl, obviously, but that was David Fincher. He directed it.
When you said that Gone Girl, I was just like, oh, this nigga's having a stroke.
No, this is the nigga that knows filmography, bro. So Argo, the Live by Night, that movie wasn't great. I stopped halfway through that, and then this, so he's a really strong director, very consistent, and I think, I'm interested to see what he does, especially with like the talent that he has access to. I think that again, I really enjoyed Jason Bateman in this. I think he had some really strong scenes. Was able to play like his comedic timing as well as have a few dramatic moments. Marlon Wayans continues to surprise me when he pops up on shit. He has a few very small scenes, but he's good. And then Chris Tucker in his first role in 7 years. The last role I remember seeing him in was Silver Lining Playboy. Yeah. So I'm curious as to what his selection process is these days. It's just like people call him up like, hey, would love for you to play this role. I know in UVS trivia.
Yeah, man, I got it.
I don't know why his voice came out like that.
I know in UVS trivia, she found that Michael Jordan's only two requests was that Viola Davis play his mother and that his longtime friend, Howard White, be included in the film. Because Affleck always wanted to work with Chris Tucker, he cast him as White. Tucker was also friends with White, and Affleck gave him a lot of flexibility for his performance, which you can kind of tell. Like, I mean, it reminded me of what made Rush Hour work so well with Chris Tucker. Like, he can be really funny and charming. And he played it, especially when he's connecting with like the Jordans and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay. Like he's that guy.
That's why you have that.
Yeah, because he can just make people feel at home. He can make people feel very comfortable and stuff. And I'm like, that's the kind of person you sometimes need.
Listen, man, that's the job I want, man. That's what I just want to do.
Which is so wild because Did you ever watch Mad Men?
No.
Okay. Like I feel like that was like some of the client service people, like a Pete Campbell folks. Colin, if you know what I'm talking about. But these people would be like fucking assholes. You're like, how the fuck are you charming business people? But it's also like Kim folks see Kim, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so he's like working with like rich white guys. So I can kind of like, oh, like you just act like a rich white guy.
Yeah. Well, because if you're too nice to them, then they're just going to take advantage of you. They're going to look at you like a mark.
Yeah. I do want to see a movie about Michael's dad and like the whole gambling thing.
Well, that's just speculation.
Okay. Is it speculation though?
Yeah, it's speculation.
Okay. Did The Last Dance even get into it a little bit?
No.
No? Am I misremembering that?
Well, obviously him leaving and playing in baseball after his dad was killed and everything. But again, all of that is just speculation. And I don't think Michael Jordan would
not trying
ever
to get sued by
no. He would never be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even if that was the actual case, that's also a lot. I mean, that has to be something that's weighing heavy on his heart.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
You know,
yeah, man. Isn't that why people say he went to baseball? Well, that and also the NBA suspended him for gambling.
Yeah.
That's been the long rumor and shit.
Yeah, the NBA was.
I mean, if I'm this young, bro, and then I signed this deal with Nike where they're expecting 3 million in sales, and then they make 162 million sales in 1 year. I mean, the amount of money I'm getting off of that's outside my NBA contract. And what I end up making, I mean, bro.
I mean, he was okay. He could have been done.
Yeah, but that's the kind of like that's almost like, you have unlimited credit.
Yeah.
That's why when apparently MGM says Bruno Mars doesn't owe them $50 million.
Yeah, okay.
Or whatever. But
did you hear that there's a high roller that was sitting at a table with Bruno Mars? Like, I watched that motherfucker lose $17 million on a table.
I did not read that. But I can believe it.
Yeah.
I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket.
Keep up. No, I don't want to keep up with you, Bruno.
It's fucking crazy.
I need to hawk this 24-karat rock.
I just remember when Tati told me that, because she follows Bruno Mars. She gets alerts about all this shit.
Yeah.
She loves Bruno Mars. So when she's the one that broke the story to me, she's like, oh my God. And I'm like, I was not surprised. Because one, we know that nigga does cocaine.
Yeah.
Two, he has nothing but bangers. So he makes crazy money in a time when musicians, it's really, really hard to make money.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and he's got all the Grammys. So he's just making all the money. So I can see a casino being like, yeah, you have a residency with us. Yeah, like sky's the limit for how much you want to gamble. And then a business manager's like, 50 million.
So
fucking fine.
So so his residency he's making $90 million a year.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah. All he's got to do is perform for like 6 free months and he'll be good.
So, but they're saying that because of that, I mean, if it's true, speculation, guys, allegedly, if it's true, after the costs and everything, he'd only be walking away with like $1.9 million.
Yeah, and that's barely going to cover his cocaine budget or his wardrobe.
That's wild. Wardrobe, yeah, exactly.
Wardrobe. Well, all he's got to do is come out with another album, with either a solo album or with Silk Sonic. He'll be good.
That's true.
You got fucking Anderson .Paak still walking around with that goddamn Andre 3000 wig, so that he's ready to do some more music. These motherfuckers, when you saw them with the music videos and their live performances, like, yeah, they do a lot of cocaine and probably spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
Either on gambling,
or
women,
cocaine,
booze, or more cocaine. Like, they're not the niggas that are going to Bye Bye Baby to like get stuff for their kids. You know what I mean? They're sitting.
Does Bruno Mars have kids? How many kids did he?
I don't think he has known kids. I don't know. Yeah, I think he's married. He might be married.
He shouldn't be.
Why? I mean, if he is married, then his wife probably spending a lot of money too. Then, because there's no way that you spend. How would this story not? Anyways, we're getting sidetracked because we got to talk about Air.
Oh, dude, Bruno Mars got a little sexy thing on his.
It's Bruno Mars, nigga. Like,
I know. I'm just saying.
The irony, though, is Tati pointed this out. This is how big of a Bruno Mars fan she is. Bruno Mars performed, I think, as Elvis Presley in Leaving Las Vegas. Yeah. And she's like, if he keeps if he keeps gambling like this, he's gonna be like Elvis Presley and die in a fucking hotel performing until he kills himself. They're never gonna let him leave. It's crazy.
Oh
Anyways,
boy.
all right. So back to Air.
They don't have kids.
Okay.
His girlfriend, chick named Jessica Cabana, and they've been together since they met in the New York City restaurant since 2011.
Nice.
She is a baddie.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I can tell. I'm not surprised.
They live in the Hollywood Hills with their Rottweiler named Geronimo.
Yep.
Go on.
So I did write down because this is a time capsule. You know, Matt Damon playing Sonny. He's supposed to be a little overweight. He actually wore a fat suit apparently for this role, even though I'm convinced that was probably his real weight. He's saying I wore a fat suit. I'm like, yeah, Matt. Okay, you had the same bill in Oppenheimer. You wear a fat suit for that, buddy. But he goes to that the gas station to get his groceries, which I guess back in the 80s that's what you used to do because that wasn't a bodega. That was just a gas station. And he getting breakfast and shit. I'm like, he's a single dude. So I mean,
that's the thing. But like that,
we're both like, yo.
But when you're single, you're just like, I'm gonna buy my shit here.
Yeah, because I know single guys right now that get fucking Tostitos and shit like that from 7-Eleven as dinner. Not because they don't got no money, but just because they don't care.
I mean, that's just wild.
Yeah, but
that's how you die of a heart attack at the age of 39.
Well, that and then also I'm like, this is how weird my brain is, because I think about the stuff you put in your body, right? And if you're a single guy, you got to think about that stuff because you're trying to hook up with people. You're trying to make sure you get repeat business. If you're trying to get some head, nobody gonna keep going down to you if your shit tastes like a Tostitos 7-day Tostitos from 7-Eleven. You know what I mean?
Listen, if
I'm just saying,
if your sweat smells like Funyuns, you're doing wrong. You did wrong.
I never liked Funyuns. Oh, but that goes to the point I wanted to talk about. Matt Damon buys Wheaties. And I was like, I wrote down, I was like, I can never fuck with Wheaties. My mom kept buying them back in the day, especially when they had fucking Michael Jordan on the box and stuff. I was like, Mom, please stop buying these. These suck. They taste disgusting. Because I would think, they might taste like Raisin Bran. They do not taste like Raisin Bran.
Raisin Bran is delicious.
Bro.
Raisin Bran is underrated.
Raisin Bran and Cinnamon Toast Crunch, it smacks. Those three, I got a problem. Like, it's bad. I can finish a whole box of those in like a day.
Raisin Bran, Honey Bunches of Oats.
Ooh, those are good. Those are good. Those are good, but I can pace myself with those. But you give me a box with smacks with that fucking frog on it, I'll fucking be leaping into bowls all day, bro. It's bad.
Frosted Flakes. I fuck with Frosted Flakes heavy.
I used to fuck with Frosted Flakes until I got my first cavity from them. But that wasn't until college. But like I was eating a lot of Frosted Flakes my freshman year in college for some reason. I got a first cavity.
Shredded wheat. I fuck with shredded
Wait,
wheat.
frosted shredded wheat?
Yeah.
I can do. Yeah,
I used to fuck with that.
Yeah,
I don't eat that much.
But growing up, like smacks.
Well, you know what?
No,
Honey
not
Nut
smacks.
Cheerios.
Wheaties.
You can't go wrong with Honey Nut Cheerios.
I mean, as an adult, like that's all I fuck with. Honey Nut Cheerios, and sometimes I do frosted mini wheats, but it's not the most healthy. But like Honey Nut Cheerios, so yeah, for sure, bro. Yeah. That fucking little bee.
It's good for your heart. Lies.
Yeah. I don't know who they paid off to get that cosign.
Yeah, this is heart healthy.
They give you like you in the chat, they give you the sugars.
It's good for your heart, but not for your foot, nigga. They saw them. Fuck off.
Oh shit. Yo, I'm in the screenwriting competition right now. And I got to brainstorm an idea for a short film script. And it's like it's supposed to be about like a marathoner that's like experiencing FOMO and it's supposed to be action adventure, right? And I randomly came up with this idea. I'm not going with it, but it was just like, all right, there's this marathoner. There's this guy who's skilled in running, and his FOMO is that his friends are pulling off a bank robbery and he can't go. But he wants to support his friend because his friend needs to buy a new leg for his mom because she lost to diabetes. I was high as hell when I thought that.
I can tell. Yeah, she got diabetes, baby. She got to die.
The sugars. Is it really called the sugars, or is that just what you call it?
No, that's what black folks call it.
That's a terrible thing.
Yeah, that's what black folks call it. The sugars.
You think Michael ever got the sugars?
No.
His diet must have been insane, right? Or could he possibly eat anything he wanted because he worked so hard
yeah.
physically?
Yeah, the dancers, they're burning off a lot of calories.
Well, not Michael Jackson. I'm talking about Michael Jordan.
Oh, Michael Jordan?
Who do you think I was talking about?
I'm sorry, I thought you talking about Michael. There's so
Well, I
many.
was talking about Michael Jackson.
I don't know, baby.
You were like
I'm
dancing.
sorry.
I'm like, wait a nigga, who do you think I'm talking
What, you
about?
think Michael Jordan don't dance, nigga?
Yeah, but at the very least, like say Bruno, like Michael Jordan Jackson just randomly. What's going on?
I'm sorry. I like Michael Jackson. He's a great artist. So I mean, if you listen to like Shannon Sharp's podcast,
Yeah.
stuff like that, Chad Ochocinco, that nigga likes he eats McDonald's all the fucking time. Yeah, I mean, but you know, again, he ate McDonald's all throughout his fucking career in the NFL. I mean, you had Michael Irvin, who was fucking the top of the fucking NFL and was doing crack while winning Super Bowls.
I can see that. I can see that. Well, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people in this business, you know, especially with the NBA and stuff like that, whether it's the agents or something like that, are they're definitely doing cocaine at the very least.
Who do you think? Players?
Well, I mean, even their agents, like this guy, David Falk from the movie,
yeah,
he's doing cocaine. I mean, he
yeah, but he's not an athlete, so he could do that. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you also like have to have the energy to make these deals and shit like that and to negotiate.
What do you think that energy comes from?
Exactly. I mean, also this dude was very open about I don't have friends, I have clients. And it's like I'm gonna make a lot of money when I sell my agency, and I'm gonna be eating by myself. And then that's exactly what they said in the end credits. And I was like,
it sold
at
for
least
$100 million.
You know what? But I appreciate the self-awareness. It's one thing if he would be regretful at that dinner, like when he's eating by himself. But if he's very content, good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. But, you know, we only get one life. And if like you're staying true to yourself, you know, fuck it. That's what I appreciate about like if Phil Knight really was like, you know, reflecting, and as scared as he was obviously at the board, but if he really was reflecting, like I took risks to get Nike started, like, yeah, let me set this precedent with this Michael Jordan deal.
Yeah.
Because that's what equals greatness. Greatness doesn't come without risk.
100%.
Greatness doesn't come without sacrifice, right? And so, like, and that's incredibly scary, you know. And so that's why I also really like this movie because it did talk about risks. Like Sonny taking the risk to go directly to the Jordans. I mean, that's a career ender right there.
Yeah.
And then like even the agent folks says that he's like, if you don't get this, I imagine your career's over. And Phil Knight essentially tells him so.
Yeah.
He's like, this doesn't go through. Like, I mean, Sonny kind of like lays it out. He sets some own firing. He's like, he's like, if this doesn't work, I don't know what my role is here anymore.
He's just like, yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah. Questions are gonna be made.
Questions are gonna be made.
Listen, man.
Are you okay? I feel like most of us listening are here on Earth, and then Justin, you're just over here like floating between Jupiter and Mars. You're like, you know, Michael Jackson, when he did the moonwalk, he burned a lot of calories, man. Like, what?
Oh, baby.
And mind you, folks, Justin is not on Ripple.
Yeah. Yeah. I had Ripple in a long time.
You don't need to have Ripple. You don't need otherwise your brain's gonna ripple. And folks, if you never heard an episode of Justin on Ripple, you definitely need to join Patreon. Get access to the archives, and then just search under the archives Ripple, and you'll find it in the descriptions, and you'll listen to those episodes, and you'll hear Justin just losing his goddamn mind.
Oh my god, there was what's the girl, comedian? We had a female comedian on the show, and I was on Ripple, and I was on some shit. She was just like, "You really going for it today?" I recently saw her. I don't know why I can't remember her name. Sunny.
Sunny.
Yeah.
Who's Sunny?
Comedian Sunny.
Ray Sonny?
No.
Who's Sunny?
We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
We'll talk about it later.
I don't remember having a comedian named Sunny on.
Yeah. Sunshine. I'm sorry.
Nikki Sunshine.
Yeah, Nikki Sunshine. Sorry.
Sunny.
Listen.
Oh boy, Justin, just take a time out. Take a time out.
Listen.
All right, folks. So let me talk.
Listen.
let me
listen. First of all, guys, if you don't know what Ripple is this phenomenal
okay,
edible that you can only get in Colorado because they don't sell it anywhere else. You could put it
For
in.
good reason. You were fucking on one.
Oh
with
yeah,
Ripple.
yeah. See, you can put that shit in like your drink. You put it in
Mhm.
your food, whatever, or you just put it under your tongue, let it absorb, and then you'll not be fine, man. And I used to get that when I was in Colorado, and sometimes bring some back, and ooh, baby, woo, doggy.
It got so bad, Justin's wife cut him off. She was like, "You can't do Ripple no more." He used to. All right, before we get to our rings, Justin used to lay down on my couch after he took some Ripple, and, like, just lost his mind. He'd be like, "I can't leave right now." I have a picture of you on that couch over there on Ripple, just fucking crawling up. It was weird.
Good stuff.
Anyways,
Used to
we
be on
didn't
it
even
too.
talk about the design of the Nike
Yeah, I mean,
and how they come together and, like, put it together. I love what's the guy's name who helped create the
who
Nike?
died right before this movie was actually announced.
Yeah, that was a sad. That was sad, but at least he got the recognition, even though we can't. Peter Moore. Peter Moore.
Yeah.
He died April 2022, 3 weeks before filming began. He left Nike in 1987 to join rival Adidas, where he redesigned the Adidas logo to the current version. He stayed until 1998. Wow. Also, to Yuvia's trivia, since we're here, there has been much debate about who came up with the Air Jordan name. The filmmakers decided to handle the matter as delicately as possible, betraying David Falk and Peter Moore coming up with the name separately by sheer coincidence. Yeah, I'm sure there was some fight over money on that. But I loved Peter Moore, played by Matthew Mayer, just very quirky. And, like, I think at one point he's like, "Do you guys just, like, dream about shoes, about sneakers?" And, like, just like his
basketball
love,
shoes are everything to me.
yeah, his love of, like, the sport and everything like that, and, like,
knows about shoes.
about shoes. I mean, and he designs the Jordan 1.
Yeah,
It's fucking a classic shoe.
yeah,
It's huge. It still gets redesigned. Tati has a bunch of them, mostly in the Spider-Verse designs and shit. But I love that guy's portrayal, Peter Moore. I loved at the end, after Sonny gives that soliloquy to Michael, and he's like, no one will remember anyone else in this room except you, and, like, no one will matter, something like that. No one else in this room will matter. And then Peter Moore at the end, he's like, no one in this room will matter. He's very, like, scornful of that. I just love that, like, that pitch, that meeting just had so many high stakes. This is what we've been building up for the whole movie. And then fucking the way that Ben Affleck came in, he's just like, I'm the CEO, but this is important. Like, he's such a nervous, like, fumbling fool, and he just says some crazy shit. Like,
this is the most
throughout
important
the movie.
thing. Like, I'm so busy, $2 million company.
Yeah,
but this is more important than anything else. So I cleared my schedule. Okay, so
but he'll say, like, weird shit, like, you breathe to don't forget to breathe, and they're like, what the fuck is he saying? Like,
oh yeah, because he was very hippy dippy.
in a way, it kind of reminded me of, like, a more with it Michael Scott. Like, he says very aloof things, but you could tell immediately, though, he kind of knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Whereas Michael Scott, most of the time, like, he doesn't know what the fuck, which way is up. But then he would randomly have these moments where you're like, oh shit, Michael actually does know what he's doing.
Yeah.
I kind of want to read Phil Knight's book based off of Ben Affleck's performance in this movie. But I also have too many books to read through first before I get to that shit.
He's a reading nigga. He a book nigga.
You know the next book I'm reading?
What's up?
Will, by Will Smith.
Will.
Yeah.
Was it after slap? Was it post slap?
This is pre-slap. It was huge. It was a huge thing. That's the thing. It's like, that was becoming the year of Will. And then he slapped the fuck out of Chris Rock. It's insane, man. We literally watched our hero implode.
Hey, man.
Anyways, I mean, and it happens a lot too, especially to black celebrities. Like, think about Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
How many times did we see him kind of implode and come back? This business is really, really fucking tough.
Well, Michael Jordan imploded once.
A lot of people would consider, obviously, baseball. That's an implosion. Probably Space Jam is an implosion to an extent.
No.
I think Space Jam's legacy worked out better than like the time when the movie came out. Oh no, it was a
no,
huge
Space
hit.
Jam was a huge hit.
Never mind. Yeah. Okay. And
You,
then
you had so many niggas in the hood walking around with those Looney Tune jackets.
yeah, his hits didn't come till like the baseball and then the wizard stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean the Wizard stuff, but then also at the same time, it's like
And then his sons.
no, he didn't have any shit with that.
Well, his sons are just assholes. But it's also like, I mean, when your dad's making $1 billion a year, yeah, you're gonna probably be a piece of shit.
You know what? I think maybe it is also like he took a hit maybe in the public eye when him and Juanita filed
Yeah,
for
yeah.
divorce.
Yeah.
They was like Michael Jordan, what the fuck?
Well, I
And,
mean,
and then he jumped to a white woman. That
Yeah.
became that whole thing. But like,
yeah.
even though if you were paying attention, it was always known that Michael Jordan loved himself a blonde.
I wasn't really paying attention.
About just like Alfonso Rivera.
I mean, you know, some brothers, you know, they like the white woman.
Yeah, it's like, if he was gonna cheat, he's gonna get himself a blonde.
I actually, I'm working on a bit about Henry Box, who was a slave who sent himself to freedom through a box,
Oh yeah.
and he ended up marrying a white woman. It's like I'm gonna go to freedom and get some of that white meat.
I'm gonna put myself right back into a box.
Oh boy,
I
Justin,
don't even mean it in the sexual terms.
Justin, break down our race system, baby.
Stop calling me baby. So guys, you know how we do
Stop
this.
saying that. You know,
No,
I'm
stop
gonna
calling
do
me
it.
baby. Guys, yes. So stop saying it, Brandon. Stop calling me baby. Because I said so. I said so. Anyway, well, guys, you know what we do? We rate these movies based on popcorn, small, medium, large, and the XL for the exception. If a film doesn't deserve any of that buttery popcorn, and throw it into the stale pile, where it's nothing but stale popcorn. It's 4 day old. Who wants to eat that? So, guys, we sat down and watched Air, a 2023 film, which is a biographical, take on the Nike Air Jordan.
That's right.
This is starring Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Jason Bateman, Marlon Wayans, Chris Casina, Chris Tucker, and Viola Davis. What say you, sir?
Yeah, this gets a large. I found it incredibly entertaining. The soundtrack is amazing. Again, I think most of the budget probably went to the soundtrack. I thought it was incredibly tight, 2 hours. I kind of wish they had done a little bit better with Viola Davis's makeup, but that's like a weird small detail.
Yeah, but she's playing somebody that was surviving in the in the 80s.
Yeah, maybe it was fitting for the makeup available in the 80s, stuff like that. But yeah, I greatly enjoyed this movie. I thought it was it's a good insight to a world that I'm not very familiar with. Especially when it comes to shoe design and marketing in that realm. And I really liked it. Apparently, regarding the soundtrack budget, Lluvia in our chat said they almost went over budget trying to get Duran Duran and another band for the soundtrack. Yeah, I can see that. Like I got some feedback on the script recently where people were like, dude, your budget like for music alone would be fucking nuts. They're like, you should really reconsider these song choices. I'm like, nah. Because that like you just change them. Like it's like it's suggested.
Yeah.
It's not I'm not married to it. I'm not a psychopath. I'm not James Gunn. Justin, what's your rate?
It's the song. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to large as well. I mean, again, just much like you, I've watched this film, a couple of times, and every time it's just like I'm in.
Yeah.
The acting was great, the writing was great, the pacing of the story, and then just the significance of the story.
Yeah.
And like how it's pertinent today, and just like future generation, how basically it changed the game altogether.
Absolutely.
And if you really look at this, you understand that people talk about the greatest such and such basketball player, but it's hard not excuse me, voice is cracking, puberty. It's hard not to say Michael Jordan because of the significance he had on the game, sports as a whole, and then just because it's not just the fact it's like, oh, he was a phenomenal player, but like he also completely changed the culture around not only basketball but sports as well. The guys today would not be making their money that they do without Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
Which also probably is why there's a little bit of resentment. you know, towards Michael. I mean, there's always gonna be resentment because he's the greatest.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard. And also, you know, he's responsible for Space Jam, which gave us one of the best movie soundtracks of all time.
Yeah, and then ended up giving us Space Jam 2, which was one of the worst movies.
Well, you know, yeah, I gotta be chill. I gotta protect the bag. UV in the chat is asking, did this movie get a lot of buzz when it first came out? Oh, absolutely. This is like huge out of South by Southwest.
Yeah.
And it has rave reviews. I think it just petered out. And again, I think unfortunately for Ben Affleck, I think his relationship with J-Lo just kind of overshadowed a lot of stuff. I think that it was a really strong year. Last year was a really strong year for films.
True.
Because I'm trying to think of what. Yeah, because there's even films that I love that didn't even get into the best picture, you know, discussion, stuff like that. In regards to acting, there were so many. To be honest, there were so many much more deserving performances that got nominated. Yeah, that was a tough year. It was a tough year, but I'm surprised by how quickly this one petered out in the awards conversation. But yeah, folks, as always, you know, you can follow me at Frodo_Blackens on Instagram and Threads. You can follow the show at Medium P Podcast on all social media platforms. Be sure to go to youtube.com/Medium P Podcast. Push that subscribe button so you get alert about all celebrity interviews and future film reviews that we do on the show. And Justin, if you want to support the show financially as well as follow you, what can they do, my brother?
Guys, you can follow me at J Brown Did It on the socials. But my friend, you can also support this show at patreon.com/medium popcorn.
That's right.
We have $2, $5, $10, and $15 packages over there at Patreon. So you can join up. You get the rant. You get what I'm watching. You get Tati's take. You get a plethora of new content that you didn't even know existed. And also all of our backlogs, our old content. It's right there on Patreon, all in one place. What could you want? What more could you want?
Yep.
Patreon.com/medium popcorn.
Absolutely. Did you know Nike really paid that $5,000 fine for them to be able to Jordan to be able to wear that sneaker?
Yeah.
That's such a crazy rule to have. Like, there's only so much color you can have on a sneaker.
Well, I mean, back then the NBA was extremely different.
Well, you telling me?
I mean, you look at the shorts back when Michael started.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised dicks weren't falling out all the time. They were that short, bro. What are you giggling for?
I'm surprised dicks weren't falling out. But that's what I want to see.
That's not what I want to see. I'm just surprised.
I'm just surprised you even got more, you know, dickage in basketball. The fuck, Brandon?
I'm just saying. Just saying.
All right, guys, that's the end of the episode. Brandon's got to go look at old clips of basketball games and just see if he can see a dick head just poking out the shorts.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to go now. Go to YouTube.
That's exactly what he's going to do.
Peace.